Hey, Kevin.
Hello, Rebecca.
Guess what we're doing?
It's a weekend readathon.
Sure is a weekend readathon. So, Kevin,
Yes.
today we're going to talk about things that happened in court, things that happened outside of the Karen Read case but are related to the Karen Read case, and most important to me, a little item I like to call Albert Rock.
Albert Rock.
You can't wait, right?
No, yes. We got to stick around until we get to the Rock. This is amazing. Okay.
All right, so I believe our last episode was largely about Carrie Roberts, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So we taped in the middle of the day that day because I wanted to capture her testimony and the fireworks that ensued there. So I'm just going to go over the rest of the witnesses for the week so that you can have an understanding of what has transpired in court.
Okay.
I promise there's nothing that's going to blow your mind yet. Okay. First of all, do you remember the January 6th investigation and the presentation that committee gave to Congress?
I do.
Remember how they did it?
You mean where they had the videos and they played selective clips, and instead of they went along, they had the questioners asking questions of the witnesses, but they also supplemented it with sort of pre-planned clips to highlight certain things. Am I getting close to where you're going?
Yeah, that's happening in the Karen Read case right now.
Okay.
So what's happening is, do you remember those disputed documentary clips that Hank Brennan wanted to introduce into the trial, and that the defense said, maybe you didn't hear this part, that they would be prejudicial and not probative?
I do not recall.
Okay.
I think a lot of us might have missed that.
All right. So it happened in a pretrial hearing, but then also happened the other day where Hank Brennan wants to introduce these cuts largely from the Karen Read documentary, the most recent one that we saw. And Jackson and Yannetti are like, those are prejudicial. They're not, similar to the readers being in court. They have tone and inflection. However, we knew this was the risk of having Karen Read give media interviews,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I think it's fair game. But what's happening, the presentation is what's interesting. So the clips are allowed in. And what's interesting is that Hank Brennan is not playing them in conjunction with a person's testimony. He's playing them in between witnesses. So he will just play a clip and then call a witness up. And the clip very often has nothing to do with the witness, or has a little to do with the witness, but he's just allowed to play them in court and then call a witness.
That's odd. I've never seen that before.
I've never seen it either. It's really interesting.
He's not as evidence?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's publishing them as evidence for the jury.
Okay.
But they're not evidence supported by witness statements because she is the witness in this case, right?
Right.
So let me give you an example. One of the clips he played this week that, absolutely felt a little prejudicial, not probative, was around John O'Keefe's mother's testimony, but not during John O'Keefe's mother's testimony. He played the clip from the documentary of Karen talking about the moment that she thought John's mother suspected her of hitting him with her car. And I don't know if you remember this, but she said, we're all standing around the kitchen island, and all of a sudden John's mom says, he looks like he was hit by a car. And now that's how she said it. So remember that?
I do remember that from the investigation discovery thing. So he just played it cold.
Yeah, he just played it cold. And Peggy testified this week, Peggy O'Keefe. She was very sympathetic. She testified, and the contrast between her testimony and that clip, apparently one of the reporters in the courtroom said the jurors had very, very surprised looks on their faces when they saw the clip, because the comparison with the testimony in the clip was kind of stark and surprising.
Yeah.
The other thing that Peggy O'Keefe said, by the way, was that at one point when Karen and her dad went to the house on the 29th, that they went upstairs for several minutes. I don't know what that's implying. I think maybe they're trying to build up to maybe Karen deleted the missing ring footage from John's house. I don't know, but we actually already know, and it's been established that she never had access to that ring account.
Yeah.
So.
Or that they were conspiring about something.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. That's really interesting, because I don't see really how that piece of video is nothing but prejudicial.
Right.
In that context. Right. To just throw it out there. It isn't, because it doesn't seem like they're making any sort of greater point about it.
They are,
or
actually.
It's corroborating something else other than just leaving it out there as an implication.
Their theory that they are positing is, quote, consciousness of guilt. So what they are saying here is that Karen Read was conscious of her guilt, which is why she immediately jumped to the conclusion that that's what John O'Keefe's mother was thinking when she said that. So they're bringing in all this, quote, consciousness of guilt evidence, or trying to. Some of it was not allowed in, some of it was. And it's an interesting idea, because you can like retroactively put consciousness of guilt on almost any activity of anybody ever, right?
Sure. Yeah. I also would love to hear from a lawyer about if the prosecution introduces a Karen Read interview, does it open the door for the defense to then use their clients' clips from those interviews too? Because I'm wondering if, then wouldn't Jackson want to come up and then show the clip of Karen saying, John's father says looks like he went 10 rounds with Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
And then I wonder, does that set a precedent where a defendant can continue to testify without ever testifying?
I don't know. It's very interesting. I will just say that I don't think the defense has submitted those clips to be allowed as evidence. And I think at this point they'd have to file another motion to do that. And they might. Who knows? And Hank would say, it's too late, even though he keeps filing motions all the time.
Yeah.
All right. So a couple of more witnesses that came up. Nicholas Guarino testified, I believe, twice so far. You know who Nicholas Guarino is?
Yeah, he was the Massachusetts State Trooper who was their, lack of a better term, cell phone expert.
Yes, he is their cell phone expert.
The one who could not find the thousands and thousands of texts from the Sandra Birchmore
case. More than 32,000.
32,000 texts between her and her killer's police officer. Also, let's see, in the original trial, he was the one who refuted that House Long to Die in Snow was done at 2:30. And that it was actually done at 6:30, right? So he's that guy, right?
He's one of the couple of witnesses for the Commonwealth who said that. We learned from his first time on the stand this week that he's also a trained sexual assault investigator.
Okay.
Interesting. And his first time on the stand, he basically talked about how searches and extractions are done and what hash values mean. Do you know what hash values are?
Yeah, this came up earlier, I think over the summer when we were talking about some of the evidence. It's kind of like the digital fingerprint. It is a piece of code that sort of verifies that this is from the place that it is. It's at this time, right? So it's not like for maybe a different kind of comparison. This isn't a photocopy of the thing. This verifies the authenticity and other important metadata of a piece of digital evidence, like an email or like a transaction or something.
Text or a Google search. So what he essentially says is that even if you go in and alter your phone by one character, add a space somewhere, it'll generate a different hash value the next time you extract it. So this will come up later because it's about whether or not phone data was manipulated before it was extracted. That's what this is going to be about. It's foundational.
Okay.
So he was let off the stand. Later, he came back on the stand to talk about the texts between Karen and John the day before John dies. This is the 28th. This is the day that they went to the waterfall. But remember, he died after midnight. So the 28th and 29th are sort of conflated. And the texts, show that they had gotten into this argument about his kids, about his niece and nephew, and Karen allegedly spoiling them.
The Dunkin' Donuts thing, yeah.
Right. And also there was an argument allegedly about her wanting to have a plumber over and him being jealous about the plumber or something like that. But when I read those texts, there's a few things I read into the text, and I'll just be frank about it. John O'Keefe, in my estimation, was not a great boyfriend, and their relationship seemed super toxic.
Okay.
But all that aside, that's not the reason why he was killed.
Right.
No matter who killed him.
Right.
But he comes across as controlling. He comes across as angry, and she comes across as a hothead. So their relationship dynamic seems very toxic.
Yeah, and I think it's only relevant not to pass judgment because this is part of the Commonwealth's theory of the crimes. They're saying that it was motivated by domestic discourse.
That's right.
An argument, and that she did this in a fit of rage. So,
their new theory, by the way, which you weren't on the episode that Mel Barrett was on, their new theory, as she explained it to me, and I went back and watched it.
It's not the Aruba thing. It's the
Bella's mom thing.
Yes.
Right.
I did see the clip on TikTok. So
all right.
I did know what you were talking about.
All right. We also heard from a paramedic firefighter named Daniel Whitley.
Okay.
And
this wasn't the very first witness that Jackson destroyed on the stand, right?
It wasn't the first one he destroyed, but he was definitely made to look pretty bad on the stand.
Sure.
So he was at the scene, and he claims that Karen approached him and said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
Okay.
All right.
So his testimony is that she said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him hours later. He said at the scene.
He said
he heard her say
no. She approached him and told him that.
And told him at the scene while they're working on John, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
That's right.
Okay.
Now, interestingly, his prior testimony.
3 I hit hims?
Yeah, 3. And that's important because that is the crux of the Commonwealth's case. They always say, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. In previous testimony, first of all, this doesn't appear in any reports.
Yeah.
In previous testimony, he had said, I hit him maybe twice or something different. But then, more interestingly, Hank Brennan on direct examination played him some video clips from that scene. John being resuscitated in the back, him being there. He's identifying people in the clips and sort of played him and stopped him, played him and stopped him. And a lot of his clips, interestingly, don't seem to have the same sound as when the defense plays the clips. It's almost like they've muted the sound and focusing on the visuals, but the sound is important.
Okay.
Obviously, there's a lot of sound going on outside. So on cross-examination, Alan Jackson plays the full clip. Essentially, the clip from his arrival to them taking John O'Keefe away in an ambulance, right?
Yeah.
He asks Whitley, did you at any point see my client approach you in that clip? She didn't approach you, right? And he says, she did. And Alan Jackson says, what? Because it's very, very clear in this clip that Karen Reed never approached this guy, Daniel Whitley. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Were they able to square that? No, he
on
just
cross-examination again, it was like, no, she said it. I mean, they're just fighting, but it's on video. And it's very interesting that he keeps saying that she did it when it's on video, that we don't see her do it. We also don't hear, by the way, we hear a lot of noise in the video. We hear screaming. We hear Jen, Carrie.
Yeah.
But we don't hear at any point Karen say, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, or anything to that effect.
Yeah. If they wanted to get their story straight, it should have been, I hit him.
Exactly.
Instead of, I hit him.
Exactly.
Something that like all the other microphones would not be able to pick up.
That's right. All right. So on Friday, we got a couple of witnesses, including a, dare I say, very boring doctor from Good Samaritan Hospital.
And was this also the day of the View? I know I might be jumping around.
This is the day of the View. This is after the View. We'll get to the View
Okay,
last.
sure.
I promise.
Right. So they return to court. Get underneath that ceiling fan and kick it off again.
We hear from, it was funny because one of the live stream I was watching, when they put the fan back on, it was a Chiron saying like, jury has finished view. We expect them back in court anytime or something like that. It's like whoever's doing the Chiron typing is like trying to be a reporter too. It's very, very good. Anyway, so this doctor, this pathologist who runs the lab at Good Samaritan testified about Karen Reed's blood serum test after she was taken to the hospital in that Section 12. By the way, I didn't mention this. Whitley also said that Karen was very uncooperative at the hospital, that she didn't want to take a urine test, that she was complaining, that she didn't want to put on a gown. Now, allegedly, or this is what they say, is that she had her period and she was uncomfortable doing all this in front of other people. So she ultimately gets blood taken. They explains how the serum test happens. It is incredibly boring. But what's interesting about this witness is, ask me a quick question and then I'll show you how he would reply.
Okay, so I'm prosecutor?
Just ask me any question that are along these lines.
Doctor, how long do these tests usually take?
Well, they usually take about 10 minutes, but I need to explain something else so that the jury understands.
Fuck my life. Okay, sure. Yeah.
And he kept saying so that the jury understands. I need to explain something else. And Bev was allowing this, which was incredibly irritating. He was actually being cross-examined by Elizabeth Little, and it was just like really weird. But anyway, turns out that the short...
Miss Little.
Yeah, the short part of it is Karen Reed's blood alcohol at the hospital registered just above 0.09. 0.08 is the legal driving limit in Massachusetts.
And this is hours after...
I mean, this would have been the morning. Yeah, you're right. This is hours afterwards. Anyway, but her drinking has never been in dispute in any way. So,
No, but I will just point out before you move on, that is an important element of the vehicular homicide.
Correct.
So that seemed to be something that the previous jury was debating. How drunk was she? And if she were drunk and yada, yada. So, but they did downplay, Jackson did downplay that in opening arguments. Right. Didn't really go there. But yeah, that's not an irrelevant point.
There was also a clip played in court where Karen admits in the documentary to drinking. Remember when she says she took a shot and poured it into her drink and all that stuff? So they play that clip in court. So
the girl math of her drinking.
Yeah,
that's really one.
That's sexist, but yes.
Yeah.
The bottom line of this testimony is
it's Canton math. All right.
This guy seemed smart but boring.
Uh-huh.
A hospital serum test is not a legal drunk driving blood alcohol
not like
test.
a breathalyzer or something that's recognized by a court for that.
Typically not. He said 99.5% or whatever of the time they are not doing what's considered to be a forensic test. Mm-hmm. But he disputes that there would be a lot of difference. He says they come out about the same, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, so that's kind of what came up during his testimony. Finally, there was another firefighter paramedic, a guy named Becker. And this was interesting. He was in the ambulance transporting Karen Reed to the hospital on that Section 12, okay?
Okay.
And what the prosecution was trying to get from him was him saying that Karen said to him, "My last words to John were very angry. They were angry words." All right?
Yeah.
So they're trying to nail him down on whether or not, she was fighting with him before she ran him over, allegedly, right?
Right.
And this got really heated.
Okay.
Even with the prosecutor, because he was calling her Karen. He was being kind of empathetic, and he was basically saying, honestly, I was just focusing on taking care of her.
The witness kept calling her Karen.
Yes.
On the stand.
Interesting,
okay.
right?
Okay, yeah.
Because that sort of humanizing language, right?
Right, that's something that usually prosecutors want to avoid.
That's right. So he was calling her Karen on the stand. He was talking about how, a lot of his memory is clouded, or the defense might be clouded, because he was just focusing on taking care of her.
He wasn't drinking either? So everybody's memory's messed. He's the only one I was just too focused on my job.
Right. Exactly.
Somebody had to be.
Imagine that, right?
I don't know. The guy driving the ambulance was probably drunk too, but what the fuck? It's Canton.
Right.
All right.
So during cross-examination, Alan Jackson got to the point where he was like, couldn't she have been talking about all of her voicemails to him? And, playing him the voicemails being like, John, blah, 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 blah. Like, remember all those voicemails?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I wasn't, his whole thing was like, I don't really
know. Sure.
Exactly. That's the, and then Hank Brennan got up and was very angry in his redirect of him. It was a really weird scene.
It's your own witness, counselor.
But the significance of it is that Becker would not confirm that Karen said, I just had a fight with John and then I ran him over. I'm implying that, okay?
Yeah, certainly sounds like a guy who doesn't come in with an agenda. Just like, I'll just tell you what I know.
Unlike Whitley, who came in very much appearing like he had this agenda of saying, I hit him, I hit him.
Yeah, firefighters and stuff do testify, but certainly not as frequently as police officers do. So it probably was not his first time on the stand, but he doesn't have as they say, a dog in the fight.
Well, what's interesting is that
Chloe in the house.
At some point during the testimony, he was asked, why don't you remember this more clearly or something along those lines? And he said, because I didn't think I'd be testifying in a murder trial.
There you go. Sure. Yeah.
Great answer that Hank Brennan did not like.
Yeah. So they're going to call him back for the third trial?
Probably.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, I want to talk about this thing that happened during The View.
Okay.
Now, do you want to remind our audience what A View is?
Sure. This is a field trip where the court takes the jurors to one or more locations that are relevant to the crime. And in this, it is in front of 34 Fairview, Brian Albert's old house. And so some of the things that happened
What else was there in front of the house? The car.
There was the car. There was Karen's Lexus. And for things like this, they're not allowed, the prosecution and the defense are not allowed to testify or to make assertions, but they are allowed to say, please notice where the car is in relationship to the driveway. And I think one of the things you're going to say that Brennan said about the car was to notice, there's all this focus on the taillight.
Right.
But also to notice what appears to be referring to the spoiler.
Right. A protruding piece on the top of the rear windshield.
Yeah.
So that's the spoiler.
And I don't think it's really a spoiler. I think it's just sort of a design.
Yeah,
where
we have that
it's
on
like
our
a sharp
cars.
edge.
It technically is a spoiler. It comes out over your windshield from the top of the car.
It's not like the spoiler that my friend had on his IROC.
No, it's not like one of those Long Island spoilers that has two little sticks and then like a fin. No,
it's an aerodynamic feature of the body of the car, but it is something that it sounds like they will try to later make the point, or at least just leave it with the jury.
We're implying this
that a gash or another wound could have been made not by the plastic, the shards of the taillight, but from a different part of the car. Because it's hard to get hit in the head and have your arm gashed by a whole bunch of plastic at the same time.
Right. So you saw, I think they were going to claim that they are going to claim that he fell backwards on his head.
Yeah.
But that's an important detail, so remember that.
Yeah.
But you saw the spoiler.
Yeah.
And you've seen the back of John O'Keefe's head.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the spoiler
No.
would reflect damage?
No.
If it had hit his head in the way that his head looked at the hospital?
I can't imagine that they would find fingerprints and DNA on the taillight, but not be able to see any blood or other things on the spoiler.
Yeah, and the spoiler is totally undamaged. It does, by the way, stick out at least as far as the bumper or a little bit farther.
Yeah. They would have to present that evidence, right? We haven't heard that they're coming in with that, but all right.
So Yannetti tells the jury to look for a few things. Mm-hmm. The distance between the door and the street, the distance between the driveway and the flagpole, and most important, the distance between the upstairs window and the flagpole area.
So the upstairs window, the bedroom of Brian Albert, sleeping away the day
with his wife Coco,
because he had a big party and apparently they've been fucking and
butt dialing during fucking.
And butt dialing, which is not. That sounds like a new Kama Sutra position, the butt dial, and that's why he just was not around when the entire Canton Police Department and fire department were on his lawn. While Karen Reed apparently was screaming at the top of her lungs, "I hit him." Despite
the fact that Jen McCabe has 2, since deleted, phone calls to her sister, who she calls Coco,
in that house
that were answered. There was like a 6-second one and a 9-second one. So anyway, there were 2 confirmed phone calls to Coco that it looks like were picked up.
Yeah.
And it went for a few seconds. And we hear on that video, remember, that all of what Jen McCabe said in the car was captured on a voicemail left on John's phone because Karen had thrown her phone in the back seat.
Right.
We actually heard Jen McCabe say something like, "They're sending help," during one of those calls.
Yeah, well, I will just say, in all fairness, that was an enhancement.
It's a little bit like an Ancient Alien situation.
Well, yes, right. This could be one thing.
Ghost hunters.
No one has presented that as evidence, but you're right. I would ask you, dear listener, to put yourself in the position where you have just rolled up on your sibling's house and there's a dead person out front, and if you were to call them, what would you completely convey what is happening in 6 seconds?
John's on your lawn and he looks like he's dead. Come out here. Click. That's it.
Or if your sibling called you and told you that somebody is dead on your lawn, would you not say what?
Exactly.
And then not come outside? Anyway, it's very interesting. But that isn't the biggest thing that came out of it.
It isn't.
Okay, all right.
So Massachusetts, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts has a very famous rock. What is that rock called?
Plymouth Rock.
Yeah, kids go on field trips to what's called Plymouth Plantation.
It says
they see the rock.
1620 right on it.
It's literally just a rock inside of a little box thing. It's very unspectacular.
It's not.
It's so little and it's so unspectacular. Just like the Blarney Stone is just like a stone in a wall. It's just like one of those things. I now have...
And Plymouth is actually not easy to get to.
No.
You would
my God.
It's one of those,
so far.
You can't get there from here.
Oh, that field trip. I refused to chaperone that field trip because I didn't want to get sick on the bus because that was like a 2.5-hour bus ride from... Anyway.
It's not close to Hyannisport or any place fun like that.
No, it's not like Boston.
Yeah, sorry.
All right. So I have a new Massachusetts rock that I would like to introduce into this case and our discussion of it. Albert Rock.
Albert Rock.
While the jury was there on The View, and we know this because the media was allowed for a few minutes, I believe, after the jury left to stand by the lawn, stand by the car, take photos, do stand-ups, all that stuff, right? While the jury was on The View, right in the middle of the Albert's lawn, I would say maybe half or 2/3 of the way from the driveway to the flagpole. There was
near the curb. Not on the curb.
There is no curb, remember. It's just near the street.
Yep.
There was a very prominent, I'd say probably foot long and foot wide rock.
Size of a watermelon, maybe a little bigger, right?
Yeah, kind of triangular shaped with the word Alberts painted on it.
Right.
With like multicolored paint.
Yeah, something that like young family might do or whatever. I'm always looking at that in the middle of the lawn saying, who the fuck mowed around that? But okay.
Well, that rock has never been there before.
This is true. This is a very well photographed piece of property in Massachusetts.
That rock,
no one has ever noticed a rock.
Well, no one has ever noticed it because it wasn't there.
Yeah, all right.
It wasn't there. It wasn't there. It wasn't there.
So a rock suddenly appeared in not the middle of the lawn, but near the edge of the curb where there is dispute over how John O'Keefe got these injuries to his head.
Correct.
but this rock, well, can we go out and take a look at the rock now?
The following day, the rock was gone.
Yeah. And the previous day, the rock wasn't there either, I bet.
Well, you know why?
Why?
Because the Alberts don't live there anymore.
That's a great thing. I tell you, if someone put a rock like that on our front lawn and
With someone else's
house,
name?
Yeah. My infamous house.
You would just turn it upside down at the very least, right?
I'll tell you, if I bought like a very infamous house, I would not keep Dahmer on the mailbox, right? I would take that off.
Sort of like, funnily enough,
Yeah.
in the Amityville Horror House, which is just a few miles from where I grew up, you know, the house had those two little triangular shaped windows that look like eyes on the sides of the Dutch Colonial.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, whoever bought it then changed those windows to be a different shape, as if that would stop people from driving by their stupid house.
People are like, no, that's not it.
By the way, it's a
The eyes
very
are creepy.
beautiful house and a beautiful location. It's right on the water. It's really, really beautiful.
Okay.
Anyway.
So somebody, we don't know who, purposely put and staged a rock.
Apparently.
Which either was an Albert's rock that they took with them, they had it someplace else, and the kids did it, and it made a reappearance for one day, or somebody mocked one up for reasons unknown and placed it there for the jury to see.
Only in this case would this happen. Only in this case. Because it would be very easy to imagine a juror coming to the conclusion in their mind, oh, maybe that's where he hit his head.
Yes. Sure.
Without even the state presenting anything to that effect, right?
Yep.
So I was very surprised that we didn't hear about this when they all came back to court for the afternoon, but we may hear about it at some point. The juror may be asked to disregard the rock.
I think so.
But also, it's so weird.
Well, what really made it weird is that it disappeared the next day.
It was just gone by the next day.
Which is
we don't know
super
exactly
red flag.
when it disappeared. I would say if those homeowners have ring footage, they should look at it.
I don't know, that home come with a ring camera that works?
Oh, do you know that, I did tell you this a long time ago, Brian Albert claims he did not have a home security camera, which I personally find to be kind of a stretch considering he was a cop and that's like a cop thing. But he did own a Nest camera that he says he received for Christmas and never hooked up.
He was too busy drinking and fucking in January to set that up.
All right. So finally, this is a little bit confusing, but I'm just going to explain it to you briefly, and then I will post a link to it in the show notes so people can read it for themselves.
I still want to talk about the rock more.
All right,
but
let's talk about the
rock. This is fucking crazy. Somebody came along. Okay, well, speculate. Who does that benefit?
The Alberts.
That specific
and
the prosecution.
Brian Higgins.
And Brian Higgins. Yeah.
I don't think Brian Higgins would have done something like this.
I'm just reminded of the O.J. Simpson view where the jurors went to O.J.'s house in Brentwood, and they got there, and not only was it cleaned up nice, but like his Heisman Trophy was prominently displayed, and so it was staged in the all
of his family photos. Remember all the family photos?
Yep, and a Bible or something probably.
All
like
him
that.
loving photos of Nicole and the kids.
Yeah, everything had a purpose and the strategy behind it. This is odd because, I don't know. I could talk to the homeowner about, is this your rock?
Right.
And
you think the defense has not tried to contact that homeowner since Friday?
Oh, I bet they're all over it.
They have to be. This is the thing that this is one of the two things that everyone is talking about on Twitter around this case this weekend. And I have dubbed it Albert Rock.
Yeah. But I mean,
I would take a field trip to go see it if it were still there, not going to lie.
Well, we don't know where it is. But it'd be great if they had a search warrant and they find it in the back of
they're not going to find
Colin Albert's iRock.
That rock, you mean Colin Albert's black Jeep.
Oh, okay.
Which we have now seen on video. And we talked about that on this show, right?
Yeah.
Him following that dude around and then complaining that dude was following him. Anyway, he used to drive a Ford Edge, by the way.
Yeah.
And now, surprise. Yeah. And now he drives a black four-door Jeep Cherokee.
This just seems to be like another instance of the ham-fisted attempts to fabricate evidence or mislead or obfuscate, which were so easily discovered.
Right.
Fake email addresses, things like that. It just, anyway, The Rock suddenly was spirited into the neighborhood and spirited away so that the jurors could see it.
That rock is in a pond somewhere. I guarantee it. It's in a pond.
They deep six the
or
rock.
It's in the woods, or it's behind the high school. Like, it is not near.
I think it's probably by underneath Eukenic's desk.
Speaking of which, I can't wait for Allie McCabe to testify again and talk about how Life 360 is so wrong that it said she wasn't driving by the high school at 1:30 in the morning. She was, in fact, at home in bed. Okay. This is the final thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember who Kate Peter is?
No.
Right.
Oh, no. KP, Krusty Panties.
It's just disgusting. Yes.
Okay, here's another peripheral player, and she's in the Turtle Boy universe, right?
She hates Turtle Boy.
Okay, she's not alone, but sure.
She used to work for him.
Mm-hmm.
She was fired, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And she has been on this long vendetta against him.
Did they have a romantic relationship?
I don't think they did, but she was involved in the Lindsay Gaetani affair.
Okay.
Where there's evidence that shows that she and Lindsay Gaetani were agents of the Commonwealth and set up Turtle Boy basically to be charged with sexual assault, with all sorts of witness intimidation stuff by Lindsay Gaetani, claiming she was pregnant, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
He went to her house, filmed the sexual encounter. Meanwhile, she went in the bathroom and called Tully, saying it's like it's happening or whatever. Anyway, it's so fucked up. By the way, those charges were dropped. So the sexual assault charges were dropped.
Okay.
The witness intimidation case, of course, is still in the ether.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been all sorts of new twists, such as he stupidly he'll be the first one to now say it was stupid, went to C.F. McCarthy's one night after dinner, went in front of the pizza place and talked to the camera, and so they were able to tack that onto his, and they were trying to get him put back in jail for that, by the way.
Yeah, they really somebody really wants Turtle Boy out of the way.
Well, this ties. Do you remember that the defense filed a motion, which was affirmed, to have disclosure of any communications, emails or texts, where a witness in the Commonwealth side expressed reluctance or declined to testify in the case.
Right, and we're talking about the Reed case, and I do remember that, and we were talking about, okay, they must know something that somebody pulled back or told prosecution that they're going to change their testimony or something like that. Okay.
That's right.
They must have known something because it seems fairly specific.
It does. Mm-hmm. We know from when one of Turtle Boy's lawyers from New York, Mark Betterow, tried to get a pro hoc vice entrance into the Karen Reed team. We know from that there has been some reciprocal cooperation between the legal teams in these two cases. We know that. That has been admitted to in court. Basically, the Commonwealth was successful in getting him conflicted out, which a lot of legal people say was not the correct call, but she could not...
Getting a lawyer
she could not conflict out the former juror lawyer, because that juror lawyer lives in Massachusetts and doesn't need a hearing to be added to the Karen Reed case. Okay. All right, so this is an affidavit that was filed in the Aidan Kearney witness intimidation case by an anonymous person whose name has been redacted.
Okay. So not an anonymous person, someone whose identity has been redacted by the court or by the filer. Okay.
Right. So this person says that they have been friends with, I'm going to say she, because I think I've seen it referred to as, I'm just going to say she.
All right.
This person says that she has been friendly with Kate Peter for close to a year. Mm-hmm. They've had multiple conversations, they text all the time, etc. Peter volunteered information to me about the Karen Reed case countless times through our friendship. All factual representations below are from what Peter told me about her involvement in the Karen Reed and Aidan Kearney cases. Mm-hmm. During Karen Reed's first trial, she was in regular communication with ADA Adam Lally. At one point prior to jury deliberations, Peter met with Adam Lally for lunch. During this meeting, Adam Lally told Peter he knows the foreperson, who is a retired police officer, and he, the juror, is guaranteeing a mistrial. Okay. This is what was verbally reported to me by Peter. This is an interesting one. Mm-hmm. She told me she is paid $1,500 each month via Cash App for her assistance in the Karen Reed and Aidan Kearney prosecutions.
Oh, man. Okay, that's a tough one to swallow without actual evidence, but okay.
Well, that's what she says.
That's not who I would pay, but okay.
She's done a lot of water lifting. She is one of the lead propagandists on the anti-Karen Reed side of this case. And very openly.
I'd say that's a big accusation. You better have big evidence on that one. But continue.
She says, Peter believes Karen Reed is innocent, but she has to, quote, play the game.
Okay.
I interpret this to mean...
What a game.
Yeah.
What a game. I think she's innocent, but I'll take in $1,500 a month to...
Right. I interpreted this to mean Peter's role is to publicly promote and advocate on social media that Ms. Reed is guilty. Peter opined to me that, quote, if anyone killed John, it was redacted an asshole.
An asshole? Whoa, who's the asshole?
Peter is, quote, very close with Hank Brennan, and he has had multiple conversations and meeting with him. I have personally heard Peter on the phone with Hank Brennan. During a phone conversation between Peter and Hank Brennan that I was present for and personally recognized Hank Brennan's voice, very easy to recognize, by the way, Peter told him that, quote, her people leaked it to the media, referring to the federal investigation being over.
Mm-hmm.
All right. As of April 15th, Peter is, quote, not talking to Hank anymore. We're using a third party to communicate now. Peter says she's untouchable. Peter asked me, the person who did the affidavit, to, quote, go stalk Karen Reed in the seaport with her, and stated that Karen Reed stays at the Omni Hotel. She stated to me that we can take photos to sell to the Daily Mail, and she has done that before. Now, this is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
There is disclosure in Aidan Kearney's case that I have seen where Kate Peter is texting to someone whose phone number has been redacted that she is currently at the Omni Hotel asking if Karen Reed or Alan Jackson had checked in.
Okay.
This all checks out. Keep in mind, Aidan Kearney has in his case a tremendous amount of discovery, including phone extractions from Kate Peter that include text messages, etc. So it is
With
hard.
Kate Peter, yeah, all right.
It is hard for me to imagine that a lot of these things would be entered in without at least evidence for backing up some of them.
Yeah.
All right.
It just like all of the women in this case seem to be taking super proactive roles.
Yes.
Trying to influence this and that. The dudes are just really quiet, not doing much, which I think says a lot sort of about, I definitely think some of the women there are like their energy is up about different things than the men who probably think they're best served by shutting the fuck up.
Right. You mean people within the case.
Within the case.
Right. You're not talking about like Turtle Boy, who is a man who's very fucking loud.
No, I'm talking about the McAlberts, right? That whole crew. You know, I mean, there's little bits in here, Kevin from Southie or whatever, but it just seems like from these different things that we get from behind the scenes, the people who are there pulling on the shirt tails of all the investigators and the prosecutors happen to be the women.
Right. Carrie Roberts, Jen McCabe, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Who are people who are not named as
agents of the state?
Yeah. All that. Okay.
All right. So Peter informed me that Jen McCabe, quote, bought her a brand new sectional as compensation for her assistance.
Okay, I'm just saying again, those are super big allegations.
I agree.
And I mean, it's along the lines of like Turtle Boy bought a Lexus and so Karen paid for it.
Absolutely. And I will say this is nuts. All of this is nuts.
Yeah.
And you get the impression with Kate Peter that she loves being aligned with the McCabes and Alberts. She knows them. She talks to them. She loves being on their side. She talks about them all the time. She's the lead. She
understands her importance.
She overestimates her importance, I think. And she is the first one to say that Jen McCabe is nothing but a wonderful person and a soccer mom. Mm-hmm. Actually, a basketball mom. She really needs to amend that because Jen McCabe was a basketball coach. Anyway, this is another interesting point. Peter was told by Jennifer McCabe that Jennifer McCabe informed Michael Morrissey that she is, quote, not testifying unless Turtle Boy is in jail.
Okay, that's important.
Michael Morrissey informed Jennifer McCabe that he would have to then subpoena her, and Jennifer McCabe then told Michael Morrissey, quote, then we won't say what you want us to say.
The quote is very interesting because when you said that, this legal document uses quotation marks, implying that this is a direct quote from Jennifer McCabe to Michael Morrissey. Its source is very interesting. Hopefully we'll find out what that is. But that's the big thing. Jennifer McCabe, my inference from this document is that Jennifer McCabe is focused like a laser on Turtle Boy and is saying, again, trying to get the DA to say, if you don't get Turtle Boy, then I will not testify for you.
Right.
That she's more focused on Turtle Boy than she is on the Karen Reed, John O'Keefe case.
Or she sees Turtle Boy as a real problem and she wants him off the board. Now, do you remember a few minutes ago, I told you that the defense filed a motion to obtain all communications between the DA's office and any witnesses who said that they didn't want to testify or were reluctant to testify.
Yeah, here we go.
I believe this is what they were talking about. I believe that
we won't say what you want us to say.
I believe they had this information.
Yeah.
Because there is this relationship between that legal team and the Aidan Kearney legal team.
Quote, not testifying unless Turtle Boy is in jail. We don't have a date on that, right? But
no, we don't have a date on when she said it.
Okay, because Turtle Boy did go to jail for a little while.
Right. On March 16th, 2025, I'm skipping around a little bit, but I will post this on the post. You can all read it. On March 16th, 2025, Peter told me that she went to meet with Michael Morrissey and Jen McCabe at an undisclosed location in Braintree.
Not Chick-fil-A.
And when Peter returned home, she had a manila envelope in her hands.
So this witness in this affidavit says that she saw Peter with the envelope, or that Peter told me she went? Okay.
No, she says Peter told me she went, and when she returned, she had a manila envelope in her hands.
Could be anything in that envelope.
Peter has informed me that she has seen emails that are subject to a protective order between the Karen Read prosecution team and Jennifer McCabe. Peter requested that upon the request of Hank Brennan, she reported that she provided the spreadsheet of all the free Karen Read Facebook users to the Commonwealth for the upcoming trial, probably for jury information or whatever.
That seems
but that's a weird thing to ask somebody to do who you're haven't hired. Right?
I don't know. I think Jennifer McCabe is probably a pain in the ass to all these investigators, and they needed busy work.
I know that she definitely is. So Peter told me she's going to, quote, start rumors about jurors being afraid to serve because Turtle Boy will go after them, and, quote, everyone is working overtime to make sure that Turtle Boy can't be in the courtroom for the trial.
Yeah, also in quotation marks, implying that it's coming from a different document.
Right. Finally, Peter admitted to me that she created the image of Karen Read and Alan Jackson embracing that was then given to the Daily Mail. Have you seen that? Like clearly like a manipulated thing where he's hugging her from behind the back. A lot of people who are video experts have looked at the metadata of that and said it was 100% edited, which is why it didn't take on a bigger importance.
Yeah.
But the anti-Karen Read people fucking love that.
Yeah.
It's one of those live
a romantic
images,
relationship between Jackson and which is
wild. Although he is a snack, but that is wild.
Yes. Hey, if Karen's going after Brian Higgins and's willing to entertain that, then of course Jackson too, but
yes. Probably the last important point here is that she says Peter and I were discussing the Lindsay Gaetani case against Aidan Kearney. I mentioned something about Gaetani being pregnant at the time. Peter interrupted me saying, quote, Lindsay was never pregnant. So that was one of her claims at the time. She's and Aidan Kearney has made a very big deal out of this, and in fact has in an ugly way mocked her for making this claim. So all of that happened, and I would be surprised. The reason I bring it up on this podcast, even though this is the Readathon, not the Turtle Boy-a-thon, is because I believe some of this will come into play in the Karen Read case.
We've only had, 3 days of testimony? 2 days of testimony?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have one final thing to tell you.
Okay.
Guess who Facebook thinks I should be friends with?
Facebook has suggested through its algorithm, an algorithm with a capital A, that somebody that you should be friends with is Jennifer McCabe.
Jennifer Weeks McCabe herself apparently viewed my Facebook profile, which is one of the ways that you can be friend suggested, unless Facebook is listening to the audio of my videos and thinks I'm posting really positive things to say about Jen McCabe. Yeah, so Jen McCabe apparently is aware of our existence, Kevin. I'm sorry. Are you afraid?
The document just said that Jen McCabe's hobby was going around Facebook and finding all of the Karen Read supporters.
No, that was Kate Peter who did that.
Oh, okay. All right.
But yes, you know that's also a Jen McCabe.
Yeah,
apparently there's a Discord where they all talk or whatever. She's not dumb when it comes to digital media.
Yeah.
I mean, she does know how to delete things from her phone. So there's that.
Yeah. Is there a chance that Jen is in our Patreon right now?
As an anonymous person?
As an anonymous person?
Oh my God. Whenever someone signs up and their name is like Julie.
Is there somebody named Roxanne? Like that?
All right, so that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, considering that it's only been 3 days of testimony, I definitely still think that Carrie Roberts' testimony was probably the highlight in terms of like what people should watch. I also believe, and I will say it again, that if you do not know a lot about this case and want to just kind of get caught up, watch the opening arguments of both the Commonwealth and Karen Read's team. You watched them.
I did.
What did you think?
They both did a good job. I mean, like you said, it was streamlined, and they both have really leaned into the strongest parts of their theories.
Yes.
So.
Although Hank Brennan did say some things in his that were questionable, such as she now drove 75 feet. Like a lot of things that just weren't provably not true.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that is it for the Readathon today. We will be back. You know what's happening in court tomorrow?
No.
So there will be half a day of testimony, and then in the afternoon...
Crash daddies.
In the afternoon, as Judge Bev Canoni likes to say, we are getting the ARCA witnesses to another voir dire, and Judge Beverly Canoni has asked them, or ordered them, to bring materials related to their communications with the defense team. Okay. So we'll see what happens there.
Is she still trying to nail down the billing and when they were billed?
She's trying to catch them in a lie. That's all it's trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I just really don't know like why they didn't bring the ARCA people in the first place. They're trying to say like, when did he send the bill? Ask ARCA.
Right.
You know, if there's a discrepancy, they could explain why they sent it to here and there first.
And what it was for.
What it was for. What was it, you know?
It was for time and travel. I mean, it's just so
And why
obvious.
did it go to the defense and why didn't it go here? They could explain that.
If you look at the amount of the bill, especially because the amount of days they were in Boston doing that testimony, they were in there for 2 full days or whatever. They paid $12,000 for their computer forensic guy to come from Texas to Boston for 1 day.
Yep.
To just
get
check,
video from the police
which
station,
didn't happen,
which wasn't there,
right?
Okay, yeah.
So $30,000 really does line up with travel and time for 2 people who were there for 2 days.
Yeah,
just saying.
Yeah.
All right, so Kevin,
Rebecca,
this actually does it for this edition of the Readathon. Thank you for joining me for a meaty one.
Partners in Crime Media.